Hi everyone, and welcome to our online module for this week. Let's go ahead and look at Class 6, which is today. Oh geez, it's not June 7th though, so I'll fix that. Okay, so this week we're going to talk a little bit about analyzing the results from the BRI. You've administered the reading, oral reading, and the comprehension. Some of you might have gone into listening. So if you click at the top here, go ahead, and obviously you're watching a video, and I put some tools here for us to talk quickly about analyzing MSV. So it's a little, I said last week that I'm going to talk about MSV because it's something that comes up on the reading running records. In our assessment, it shows up on the far column of the student report that you fill out while the child is reading, and it says meaning change. So they have where it says significant miscue. So if it changes the meaning, then it would be considered significant, and we talked a little bit about what was significant or not significant miscues last week. So the first thing we're going to look at is a resource I like to go to often. Let's see, Reading A to Z. So I'm going to pull that up for us to look at. And you can see this looks very similar to the BRI that we're assessing, except the columns are a little different. They have, they just have the word error, and then they have the self-correct, and then they have the error and self-correct MSV. So after students have made errors, you would go back through the page and then decide whether it is the meaning, structure, or visual miscue that the child made. So we'll look at a couple of these examples here. Let's look at section 5, where it says, the wheel, the student said went, and then it says goes through the field. So they marked that as two errors because they said the wrong word twice. Then we look over here and we decide, did the word went or goes look like the word rolls? And obviously that's a no, so it's not visual. It's not that they made the mistake because it looked the same. So then we move on to the meaning. So if we were to substitute these words in instead of rolls, does it still mean the same? So if the student says the wheel went through the field or the wheel goes through the field, it still means the same as the wheel rolls through the field, essentially. So yes, the words that the student substituted do mean the same, so they circled the M. And then the second one they circled was the structure. So in a sentence, structure, does the word they replaced rolls with fit structurally? So if we said the wheel went through the field or the wheel goes through the field, it makes sense when you read the sentence with those errors the child made. So that's why they circled 2. Sometimes they can cross over there. Let's look at farm. So we can say visually it does not look the same, so that's why it's not circled. Does it mean the same? Farm, barn, this is where it gets a little subjective, but in essence, yes. So they circled M because yes, it means the same. And structurally in the sentence, does the word farm, if you put that in place of barn, structurally make sense? Yes. So they circled S. So that's how you find the M and S. Let's just look at an example of a V. So if you go down to here, in section 8, you see the wheel rolls in the school. Into the school. Does it look similar? Yes, there's the same matching of letters within the words. So they circled a V for visual. Another one they circled a V for down here where it says, the wheel is on the truck. They said track, but it does look very similar, so they chose to mark it as visual. Does it make sense? The wheel is on the track? Yes. Does it structurally make sense? Yes. So they added in the M and the S to it. So once you have administered the oral reading and the comprehension, then you'll look over your paper and decide if those are significant miscues, or anything that changes the meaning is going to be a significant miscue because now we've changed what's actually happening in the story and it doesn't make any sense. So I've created a document for you guys to use to track these MSV mistakes within your child's errors in the BRI. So I'll show you what that looks like. in Canvas, where it says the miscue analysis sheet, that's going to be this one right here. Oh, no, that's not it. Sorry. Those are the examples. You can find some more examples, but this is your miscue analysis sheet. So here is where you'll go back through everything that you've, all the mistakes the child made. So you can see to put the form number and any of the errors. So just take the word they made the mistake on and then put the miscue. So if they said, if the word was truck and they said track, you'd put track here. That's the miscue. You'd identify it. And then at the very end, you're going to go ahead and fill in the MSV. So typically what you do is you would actually, if you want to type it in your own document, that's fine. You would actually have MSV written here. And you could copy and paste it into each one, and then you would have a place to circle the MSV. When you do running records, that's exactly what we do. We write out MSV, and we circle the ones that correlate with the mistake. So once you've got your reading done, you can go ahead and fill this in with the mistakes your child made. And that will be one more tool to use for analyzing the errors, because you'll be able to look across this document and decide, okay, well, what kind of mistakes are they making? Are they overusing visual miscues? Are they just looking at a word and saying it because it looks similar? Or is it something that's changing the meaning, which is a big problem when it comes to comprehension? So that will tell another picture. And then some of the other documents I just put in here for you are the miscue cheat sheet. I always found this helpful when I was working with the running records, just to remind myself what to look for. So whenever you're looking at the M, you ask the question, does it make sense? And if it makes sense, yes, it's a meaning, because it makes sense in the sentence. Does it look right? Then you would say structure. Or does it look the same? And you would circle it because they have a visual miscue. So I just put that in there because that always helped me kind of see it and understand it a little bit. All right, so that's pretty much your work for this week, is to take your results you got that you've administered so far, fill in the miscue analysis sheet, and you're going to help use that miscue analysis sheet to write the report for the midterm that's due next week. All right, so let's go back and look at the module and what else I put in there for you. So first, go here, you watch the video, you've got the tools there. I also added back in the word list discussion board. So I know last week a couple of you said you didn't get a chance to do your word list. Hopefully now you have them. So I opened back up the discussion board so you can earn the points for that. So if you didn't put your word list errors into the discussion board, or you didn't respond to people, go ahead back in there and add those in. I also added in the audio for the 6th grade reading passage that we did not get a chance to do in class last week. So you can go ahead and test yourself on that, listen to it. You would have to make yourself a copy of the form, the 6th grade form. I think it's called Volunteer. And I'll post the results to that either later tomorrow or Friday. I also added in, so I guess we'll move into the midterm discussion here, but I posted the midterm expectations because I know we talked last week about the visual, and some of you are really good at checking over the syllabus and looking at the sections that are in the report, because it does say that the written report part, whatever you have done so far, the written report of that is also due. So, as you can see, you will create a short visual for us just to kind of give us an overview of your child and what you've done so far. You can even put, some discussion questions for us to talk about with what you found, or just give us where you're headed with your child. So that's one part, is the visual. I don't need you to submit that, just have that ready for your presentation next week. And it's very short, so keep it brief. And then the second part of the midterm is to submit the written report so far. So a couple weeks ago, we looked at part 1, which was the introduction. We looked at some samples from past students. And So that part is due. And part 2 is the testing results and analysis. So you can see at this point, hopefully, you've all done your word list and you're working on getting the comprehension done. So hopefully later this week or early next week, you can get the rest of the assessment done. Remember, we talked about how the listening comprehension was exactly the same as the reading comprehension, except this time you're going to use Form B, and you're going to read the passages aloud and only asking the students the questions. So you're reading, and then you're just going to have the question sheet in front of you to ask them the questions for. And same thing, I would start, listening comprehension is typically 2 grade levels above a student's reading level. So just start at their reading level with the listening comprehension, or maybe 1 grade above. And we're looking for the same thing, the independent, instructional, and frustration level. And so at this point, you're going to start working on the report part of the test results and analysis. So you would outline your word lists, maybe create a chart showing some of the errors, and then analyze that. So what do you find? What are some strengths? What are some weaknesses? And then you'll do the same thing for the oral reading. And then you'll do the same thing for the comprehension, and there will be a final section for listening. So my hope is that in your midterm, you're able to turn in the word lists, the reading, oral reading, and the comprehension. And maybe you haven't done the listening yet, but that will be next. So I'm looking for up to the comprehension questions. And I did post 2 samples. So if you look here, you'll see sample BRI reports. These were 2, I would say, pretty good examples of what the final report would look like. So the end result, your end case study. So just look at the part 1 and part 2 of the samples for now. And that's what you kind of want to model your own writing around. And you can see in the module, there's a place to submit your midterm. So if you could have that turned in prior to class Thursday next week, that would be great. Some of you have reached out to me, and I'll be getting in touch with you over the next couple days. If you have questions about your reports or findings, or you want to chat about anything like that, I'll reach out to you guys later this week. And our next class is face-to-face next week, which is, should know this, summer days tend to mix together. But next week, so we'll meet June 28th face-to-face, and you'll be presenting your midterm progress, and we will talk about strategies and going into how to help your children and plan lessons around those weaknesses, strengths and weaknesses. All right, and that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I will see you next week.